Hey Everett, haven't really thought of any specific propositions that I can assert, or facts that I believe in. So maybe as this video develops, I'll come to some and I'll be able to assert them. But I think the reason I can't really do it is because I'm not. I mean, you could say we're all scientific thinkers in the sense that life is mostly uncertain, but we behave in certain ways experimentally, expecting certain results. When the results don't come back as we expected, we change the behavior, and through continually performing experiments, we come to know the world. So we're all scientists in a way, but in the technical sense of a scientist, as someone who collects data based on empirical evidence, and then tries to frame it into some type of a theory, I'm not really able to do that when I talk about consciousness. You're obviously a chemistry major or a chemical engineer, I think you said. I majored in psychology, which isn't really a science. It's it tries to be sometimes, but basically it's only a foot into the scientific door. Comes from statistics because they're mathematical, but the way that you collect the statistics is always it's pretty hard to be objective about it. The way you frame certain questions on surveys and so on really plays a large role in characterizing what kind of result you're going to get statistically. So psychology is more of a philosophical endeavor than it is a scientific one. So I think what I am interested in consciousness for isn't necessarily to try to assert scientific theories about it. I certainly pay attention to the science, but I'm more trying to put the data that we have collected scientifically, the empirical research that's been done, and I'm trying to put it into context, give it meaning for human beings. Science doesn't have to worry about that. It can just collect the data and catalog it and sort of leave the meaning and the interpretation for future generations to worry about. But I'm always more focused on understanding what the science means. And you said philosophy hasn't produced anything in the last 2,000 years or 2,500 years that it's been around, but actually I think it gave rise to science. Science is based on a method developed through a philosophical approach to understanding the world. It wasn't just pre-established or given as the way to get knowledge. It's built on top of a philosophical foundation that can certainly be philosophically questioned. And that's, I think, what consciousness is forcing us to do. So there's an assertion I can make, a belief that I have about a certain fact, and that is that consciousness will require a paradigm shift. It will require us, or require scientists, to re-understand, reinterpret what it means to do science, what it means to study a physical world. So to say that consciousness could just be figured out, that the hard problem could be solved with just more work. I mean, certainly more work is going to be necessary until we realize what we're doing wrong and what our blinders are that are keeping us from making headway into the problem. I think if we continue exploring consciousness based on a sort of reductive interpretation of the neural correlates of consciousness, I don't think we're going to solve the hard problem. Not that we shouldn't be doing the neural correlate studies. I think that's a great idea. one of the main embodied cognitive scientists was Francisco Varela, and I think he really got this neural correlates of consciousness stuff off the ground. He called it neurophenomenology, which is trying to, it's a play on words combining the physiological studies of the empirical brain with the phenomenological first-person experiential reports of the subjects being studied. So it's forcing us to try to bridge this gap between being a person and being a brain, which is a difficult gap to bridge. That's the hard problem right there. But I think what Francisco Varela had in mind when he really set the framework for this whole neural correlate study was not to reduce first-person experiential consciousness of being in the world to a third-person physical state, of a neural pattern. He was trying to make sure that we didn't try to explain away consciousness, and that if we were going to solve the hard problem, it involves just as much a reimagining of our condition as people, as individuals and communities, as it did a re-understanding of how we interpret the data, the scientific, empirical cataloging of the physical stuff. He would say that, both of these are equally valid perspectives to take on consciousness. There's the state of being conscious, and then there's the physical state that is roughly isomorphic to it. So I guess I'll stop there and not make this video too long. So I'm enjoying this conversation, though. I think and certainly the more people that chime in, the better. I know Spiritual Atheist is supposed to post his reaction to all this stuff in a video pretty soon, and Lenny Bound and Contra Wagner and others have all contributed to this in the past, this discussion on consciousness, and hopefully it continues, and we all learned something. So yeah, thanks for watching.